Hi,
Hi,
my name is Shaman.
I'm Jenny.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to our office. Did you have any trouble finding the place?
No, actually, it was pretty easy to get here. I used
Good.
Google Maps. So.
I rely on that quite often,
Yeah.
so fantastic. Good. I'm glad that you found everything okay. Is there anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable, more at home?
I'm okay.
Good. I'm fantastic. If there is anything during the session, if you do need anything, please don't hesitate and feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Before we actually start the session, just want to tell you a few things. First and foremost, we are going to record the session today. That is for organizational purposes only, just to make sure that we have everything on file, that we didn't miss a beat, if that works for you.
Okay.
Want to make sure that all the information is there, and then when it comes time to creating an action plan for you, excuse me, we want to make sure that we have all the correct information. So that is why it's being recorded.
Okay.
And I can actually segue that into confidentiality purposes.
Right.
So I know that we are recording the session, but everything that you say here will be confidential.
Okay.
Our company policies is it will only be shared with my supervisor, myself, and with you.
Okay.
Those are the only individuals who will have access to it.
Okay. Good.
Any questions about that? Any concerns?
Well, no. That was. Thank you for saying that. I was actually worried about my husband finding out that I came here.
Okay.
But I'm glad that no one else will be able to.
No.
All right. That makes me feel a lot better.
Good. I'm glad. No. That is definitely not something that we enjoy doing. The only time we would break it, excuse me, I've had a tickle in my throat for the past week and it hasn't gone away.
Oh no.
So I hope it doesn't become a bother for the
That's okay.
session. But the only time we would have to break it is if we felt that if there was any kind of harm involved. It could be self-harm, it can be within the family. But again, when we do have to break it, per se, it will be to your level of comfort.
Okay.
We would let you know why we are breaking it, and then we would only move forward if you were comfortable with it.
Okay.
So how does all that sound to you?
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, good. So if you don't have any questions about that, we can actually move forward. So before we start talking about any kind of action plans or how to move forward, let's basically get to know you. So we'll just start off from there. So just tell me about yourself and why you decided to come in today.
Well, I got an arranged marriage when I was 21. I'm from an Indian culture and a Christian background as well. So my parents were very strict growing up. I wasn't allowed to date or anything. So by the time I reached, 21 years old and I was done with college and everything, they sort of told me I needed to get married right then and there.
Gosh,
so
that must have been so hard.
It was, but I've always kind of listened to them, what they've said. So it was just one more thing that I was doing for them. So I agreed, and they found me a boy through some of their friends from India, and we went to meet the family. And initially, it seemed like it would work out, and he seemed like such a great guy.
Okay.
And even talking to his friends and his family members, it seemed like he was the best person alive, and I thought he might actually be the one for me.
Okay.
Which, made me feel really happy. Like, I didn't even have to look, and I found someone, right? So I decided that after 6 months of talking, I would go through with the marriage. And he came on visa to America because he was in India.
So it was like, I was just about to ask you that, okay?
Yeah, so he came on visa, and we lived with my parents, but immediately I noticed that his relationship with my parents wasn't working out.
Oh.
So we moved out to our own apartment, and my parents just stayed where they were.
Okay.
So at first, things seemed like they were going pretty well. But when he found out that I couldn't have kids, I probably should have mentioned at first,
Oh.
he kind of got a little, he changed a lot. So, I guess that was one of his major life goals.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was nothing I could really control because, I didn't even know about it previously, but I'm sorry, this is really hard.
Take your time. You can take a breather, you can take your time.
Okay. So, anytime anything went wrong, like if I accidentally, broke a plate or something, it would be like all hell broke loose, and he would scream at me, and, a lot of times it got to physical violence, and he would end up hitting me, and, I couldn't really say anything back because I was too scared, but then one of my friends noticed, and she told me that I have to come in to see, someone here. So I took.
You came.
I came. Yeah.
That's a strong step. Definitely a strong step. Wow. Thank you that must have been really hard to share.
Yeah.
And especially with someone you just met. So thank you for sharing that with me. But I do have a few questions for you, just to get an idea about, just to get more information. So how long have you been married? I'm sorry if I missed that.
It's been 2 years now.
Okay. So within those 2 years, you said you initially lived with your parents, but now you're living on your own. Mm-hmm. How long did you live with your parents?
We lived not even 4 months.
Okay, so quickly found a house,
yes,
an apartment, and moved out. Okay. You said any kind of small gestures can trigger his anger. So how often does that happen?
Well, he finds something every day to blame on me, even if it wasn't my fault. Like the one time, he himself broke his own computer, and it ended up being my fault somehow.
Oh gosh!
I don't know how that related. I wasn't even there.
Yeah,
at the time,
like you were in a part of the actual scenario,
exactly. And it was still my fault.
Somehow the anger that he had in him from breaking his own computer was brought out on you. Mm-hmm. So, looking back onto the scenarios that you have gone through and the daily struggles, it happens quite often, you say.
Yeah.
So anything small just triggers him. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is definitely a lot of information to dissect, and there are definitely more questions that I do have for you. I was like, either we can continue on talking, learning more about you, or I was like, if you like, I can tell you more about our program, or like based on your comfort, like either we can take a breather and I can tell you more about what we do. I was like, if you feel comfortable and ready to continue talking about it, we can do that.
I'd actually like to hear about your program.
Okay. I was like, all by you, of course.
Yeah.
So what we do here, our organization is Women's Only. So I'm glad that your friend, who is aware of our program, suggested you to come here because it is Women's Only. Okay. Our counselors are all women, just to keep that level of comfort.
Yeah, she had told me that, which is what
wonderful.
made me, want to come here more.
Good, I'm glad. I'm glad that there's good friends out there, so good for her that she did recommend you to come in. So what our program does, it is we hear the story, and then we want to move forward in a way that is most beneficial to you. I know that you said, so just connecting our program with what you said, I know that you said there's strong Christian beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
You come from an Indian culture,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming that you don't believe in divorce.
No
And
divorce.
so because of all of that, we want to take all that into consideration, and then we would move forward in either, like, if you are fully determined to just stay in the relationship and fix it, I want to see if we can get you to meet with counselors on a current basis. And he may or may not know, to your level of comfort, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would move forward by using those counseling sessions and some gear change into your household, where it's, if there is anger for him, he's not taking it out on you. But that's also something that we will continue talking about. So here, we have multiple programs within the organization. We would suggest support groups for you. If you do end up wanting to take legal action, that is something that you can take as well too. But of course, that is all maybe in a long run, long term. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But there's still a lot to learn, and I don't want everything to just come out right now. Of course, I was like, we'll take it step by step by step. Is there anything you would like to share? I know you just shared a lot. And again, I just thank you so much for that, because all this information is really helpful for us in helping you, because that's actually the assessment that we do take. The perspective that we take is strengths based. Excuse my tongue twisting right there.
That's great.
And the reason why we do that, and along with solution focused model, is because we want to take all of the strengths and qualities that you have and put it into your plan of action. Okay. Where the solution is probably to change how things run at home. Okay. And then we'll work towards that model. But of course, we'll take it step by step by step, day by day, week by week, and learning on how to do that. And of course, we want to work with you. I was like, you're kind of in the driver's seat. Yeah. I'm in the passenger.
I've never actually been in the driver's seat.
Aww. Well, there's always a new step for things. New way.
That's true.
First things first. So looking at the time, I was like, it's getting kind of late, and I do want to make sure you get home okay.
Yeah.
So even before you leave, we'll step out into our main office, and I will give you the resources that we have and everything, and I'll give you my card, and then we shall be in touch furthermore on how to move forward.
Okay, that would be great.
I was like, any questions before we close up?
No, I'm really grateful that, my friend suggested me to come here, because
I'm glad she did.
It's a relief, getting things off my chest.
Good. I'm so happy that she suggested it, because we want to help you. We want to make sure that you are physically okay, mentally doing okay, and so forth. But we'll take it day by day. And of course, just to reiterate, everything is confidential here. I was like, the only time it will be broken is if our team is comfortable in doing so, and if we feel like there's a lot of harm and it's not safe.
Okay.
Okay? If there aren't any questions, we'll just close up for today, and we will be in touch for later.
All right.
All right?
Thank you so much.
Again. All right? And now I'll walk you out. All right?